I very often yap about your true self or your genuine self or your authentic self, and it's all the same thing. And I first kind of became aware of that years ago, years and years ago. And for you who know me, this is something you may not know about me. I was married for a brief time. I always say it was my 5-minute marriage. It was a wee bit longer than 5 minutes, but regardless. And that I was young. I was 23, and I'd been working with this young man, and he was a very, very good man. There's nothing, he was a good guy, and our relationship went on. And the next step seemed to be to get married, and he asked me to marry him, and I said yes, because it just seemed like the right thing to do, and I was getting to an age where people were getting married, and it was just from all views, it seemed like the right thing to do. Right after we sent out our many 200 some odd invitations, I had this very sick feeling in my stomach, and I felt it was wrong. I felt it was not the right thing to do. And I remember talking to my really dear friend Carol about it, and we both kind of agreed it was pre-wedding jitters. It was just pre-wedding jitters. Well, we had a lovely wedding, beautiful wedding, one of the favorite ones I've ever been to. At the old church in Portland, and it was just, by all appearances, by all pictures, by everything seen, it was ideal, just ideal. On our honeymoon, I was sick the whole time. I was nauseous, really, really nauseous the whole time. And I knew somewhere deep down within me that marriage was not going to be a long-lasting marriage. I knew that. I knew it in my heart and soul. But because, by all appearances, everything led to that, I stifled that. I stifled those thoughts, and I stifled those genuine feelings. And it didn't end well. I left with the clothes on my back, and it was very ugly. It was so ugly. And, I take all 100% blame and responsibility for that, because my ex-husband, he didn't see it coming. He didn't know. I guess, part of me says, how could he not know? But he didn't. And they'd never had a divorce in their family, and he didn't want to be the first. And, it was a really ugly thing. He did not want to, no matter what, he did not want to divorce. And so it was awful. It was really, really awful. And I swore at that time, I think I had turned 24 by the time the divorce happened, that I would never marry again, ever, at the wise age of 24, because I never want to be divorced again. And here's my point. Had I listened to my true, genuine self, had I not looked at appearances, had I not looked at what I should be doing, the natural progression was to get married, had I just listened to what was deep in my heart and soul, screaming out, actually, it wasn't so subtle, but I stifled it because I allowed outside pressure. I allowed what seemed like the right thing to do. I allowed that to hush my voice inside. And that's when I first kind of came to know about this entity within us that I know we all are born with. It's like kids. They have it. They are still their genuine selves. They are 100% genuine, good, bad, indifferent. They are themselves, and then we start molding them and start telling them the rights and wrongs, which we have to do. We have to keep them safe, of course. And it's like our dogs. Our dogs are so genuine. They are so genuine in all they do. And like I've said before, and I will say again, we can learn so much from our little four-legged tail waggers. We can learn so much from them. And here's the deal. That marriage was not a mistake. That was not a mistake. It was tough, it was challenging, but I learned so much from that 5-minute marriage, as I call it. I learned so much. I learned, well, maybe that's for another day. But I guess the biggest point that I learned is listen to your heart and soul. Listen, hold on to that genuine self. Don't let other people or society or rules bend you away from that, because they're bending you from your true self, the self that you were meant to be. And that self that you were meant to be also, I believe, there's a mission. We all have a mission in life. We all have a reason for being. Maybe some people have many reasons, but we have a reason. And I think as long as you stifle that true, genuine self, as long as you allow culture and, others to influence you to such a degree that you stifle that and you don't listen to it and you stray farther and farther from your true genuine self, the less happy you are. And worse than that, it's bad enough being not happy. That's a sad thing. That's a lousy thing. The worst thing is you don't get on the path of your true genuine self and the path of what your life mission is. That's the really lousy part. And then the day your last day comes and you're no longer here, you've not fulfilled that. And that's a tragedy. That is a tragedy. So it's really easy now for me, having gone through what I've gone through. My true genuine self has woke up in a big way, It's kind of challenging, I think, for other people, because we don't want to trust that. And for me, that's all I can do. I have to follow that. I have to. And the ride is lovely. It's wonderful. Of course, there's bumps and bruises. Of course there are. That's just plain life. But when you have awareness of what that is, things get really clear. Crystal clear. And I think for so many, and I've been there, so, trust these words, I've been there, we're paddling our way through life, and we're running through life, and we're going after something, and we don't even know what that something is, because we've lost our genuine selves. And we allow others to tell us what that is, what we're supposed to do to achieve happiness. We're supposed to have the McMansion. We're supposed to make a certain amount of money. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to do that. Those are all the rules. Well, baloney on the rules. You know what? And maybe that is your path. Maybe that is. So that's, that's great. But just use care. Use really a lot of care when something doesn't feel right. And it may take a while to tune into that. It may take a while, because for so many of us, we have stifled that good common sense and that power within our true genuine selves. We've stifled that so much we can't even hear it anymore. So try, one thing that's a really, really good thing to do is try some time of silence. Try some time of absolute silence where it's just you, just your thoughts. And I can talk about more about that later. But if we all lived our true genuine selves, because here's a measure of it. It's good. It's goodness, and it's love, and it's grace. It's goodness. So and it feels right. It settles right. There's a confirmation in that. So other things feel right too. Probably drug people who take drugs, that feels right too for them. But it's not of goodness. It's not of grace. It's not of love. It's that, I believe, is for self-hate. You're stifling more and more and more your true genuine self. So that's quite the opposite of what I'm talking about. So just a thought. And to me, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for people, it's a huge deal in my life. It is a game changer for me in how my life has progressed and how my days go. Things, when you're living your true, genuine self, things just fall in your path. The things you need are gifted to you. They're just gifted to you. And you need to have awareness, first of all, to see those things. Second of all, you need to trust in those things to follow that path, because many things, logic will come in and go, oh, no, there's no way. Julie Whitlatch, do not write that book because you don't know how to write a book. Well, I I just trusted in myself, and I was so driven to write a little book called Traveling Home to Happiness that I did it anyway. I just did it anyway. There were many reasons. Well, first of all, I don't know how to write a book. There were many reasons that shouldn't have happened. But here this little book's out there, and it's flying around the world now. And that just makes me so happy. I can't even hardly stand it. And that is deep in my genuine self that book came. Deep, deep, deep. And I had a lot of help, believe you me. I feel like I should list about 50 co-authors, namely one, the big guy from up above. But, it's fulfilling the life I'm supposed to live and fulfill. And that's what I wish for everybody. That's all. I just wish that for everybody. So, haven't told you lately, I love you and thank you for coming back and maybe try to give it a go. Try to give it a go. And I'll talk more later about that finding that true, genuine self within you. Goodbye.